DayZ is beginning to become one of the fastest growing survival game communities in the gaming world. But DayZ players know that there's a massive drop off and limited capacity when it comes to fun features between PC and console players. Console DayZ survivors don't have access to mods and user created maps. And they even suffer from lag, desync, and massive frame rate issues. However, as someone who stuck through it on console for nearly a year, I know there are some dedicated players out there. And for y'all, I've compiled a short list of things you can do to fix your gameplay issues and make your experience more unique. 1. Use an external SSD drive for better rendering and FPS. I remember all the crazy times where nothing would render in for me, the lag made the game unplayable, and well, driving a car? I shouldn't have to say more. On console, especially the older PS4 and Xbox One, DayZ was a game that was such a mess in terms of compatibility. What people don't always see is that DayZ is a PC game and was designed to run with PC specs. So when DayZ console releases, they didn't recreate the game to work for console specs. Instead, as is the case with most games that transfer from PC to console, they just translated all the data and files to make it at least run on console systems. Now, how can we make things at least a bit more smooth when playing? When I played console, I used an external SSD drive I had laying around from college and set it up to act as a storage device on my PS4. Then I uninstalled DayZ from my main PlayStation storage and then re-downloaded it to the SSD. Since SSD hardware runs faster than normal hardware, it'll run the game a lot smoother. You should see increased FPS, rendering speeds, distances, and an overall smoother look to the game. Now that's my suggestion for running the game itself, but now what can we do to make the gameplay feel more fun and authentic without access to mods and user created maps? Well, first off, I would suggest buying the Livonia DLC map. It is much different from Trinaris as it's filled with heavily wooded areas, dangerous wildlife, and overall more apocalyptic feel in my opinion. If you're looking for a fresh restart from the classic Trinaris, Livonia is the way to go. Plus, there is rumor that the devs plan to add much more to the map in the next year's series of updates. Use in-game comms. One of my favorite ways to play DayZ is with friends. However, I remember how crappy it was to be in a PlayStation party and have to switch between in-game comms and the external party. You had to do that manually, so that left me AFK in the game and vulnerable to getting betrayed or shot to anybody that I was talking with. Rather than doing that, I recommend using in-game comms. You can use voice chat and even radios to communicate over long distances with friends. Plus, the cluttered, overlapping, yelling voices during a gunfight is less likely to happen, or can easily be avoided by just turning off the radio. I even use in-game comms a ton on PC because I simply enjoy the change of pace, the immersion, and the creativity it requires to communicate with emotes, and the changing of voice volume based on the intensity of the situation and what's going on around you. Come up with fun challenges to make gameplay more interesting. So recently I found myself getting bored with the way that I was playing DayZ. But rather than packing it in, I tried to challenge myself. I made a list of different ways I could try to make my runs more interesting. I started to have runs where I couldn't use a backpack, where I couldn't shoot without a silencer, where I could only eat things that I killed, and so many more. Adopting these new playstyles has changed the way I loot, PvP, and travel in game. So now I've really refreshed my DayZ experience, and I've been playing a ton when I have free time. So if you feel things are getting stale for you in the apocalypse, make a list of challenges to enhance your experience. Well guys, I hope this video helped you improve your gaming experience on DayZ console. As an ex-console player myself, I feel for you guys and want you to know that you are all included in this growing DayZ community. I know more things are to come that will drastically improve your experience on console from the devs, but hopefully this video will help you find your stride and get back into DayZ until the time comes for that. If there are some things you do to make your experience better, make sure to share in the comments below. Also make sure to like this vid and sub for more DayZ guides and other story and adventure content. Thanks you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.